Hi there. We've put together this overview of some of the features of Supreme Ruler 1936 to help give you a better idea of the many elements that make up our real-time strategy game. There are many ways to play Supreme Ruler 1936. You can start a campaign as a major power at the beginning of the war, or play a scenario of a key battle, or instead choose to play as any region in the world in the sandbox mode. Knowledge of history can be a key to changing it. Starting in 1936 as China, and leaving historical events turned on, I know that Japan is likely to attack from Manchukuo and along the coast in July of 1937. That gives me little more than a year to prepare and attempt to give them more than they can handle. Currently my biggest threat is the undefended border between China and Manchukuo and how close my capital sits to that border. I'm going to focus on the expected attack by land, but there are also a number of ports which could be exploited by an enemy. Thankfully, the French, British, and Portuguese colonies along the south appear stable for the time being. The first thing I'll need to do to secure my border is deploy some of my troops and move them to the front lines. Because most of my army consists of leg units at this time, it's going to take them a little while to get there. While they're on the march, I can bolster the defense of cities and ports by adding some garrisons. How many I can add will be limited by the population and facilities in the city. Garrisons also take some time to get installed, so it's important to do this early. It's important to remember that Supreme Ruler isn't just a war game. There's a number of elements to the game that need to be considered if you want to have a successful nation, survive attacks by other countries, and still thrive. One of the most crucial elements to any nation can be its infrastructure. The supply model used in Supreme Ruler will determine how quickly ammunition and fuel can be moved to the front lines. It'll also affect how much daily production can be done in terms of producing resources. If we turn on the supply filter, it'll let us see where the supply is strong versus where the supply is weak. At this point in history, China was not very industrialized, and it wasn't investing much in its infrastructure either. If I change this, it may help us survive a Japanese attack. There is a number of social areas in which I could invest my nation's resources: healthcare, education, law enforcement, and so on, but infrastructure will have the most direct impact on my military's ability to wage war. With the threat of the Japanese invasion, that has to be my first priority. Let's take a moment to look at the other departments of our government. Looking at resources, I can see an image for each type of commodity. Notice symbols would be visible on any commodity that either had a problem or an opportunity. Here I can see that agriculture has production almost equal to the actual use. The rest is coming from my stock. I can get market details on the commodity by holding over it, and I can see that, the selling conditions are unfavorable right now. This means there's little benefit in building up this industry. If I look at some of the other industries, I can try and spot problems before they arise. I'm going to stop here, and I'll cover the construction of facilities and other features in the second part of our Supreme Ruler 1936 demonstration on running a country. Thank you very much for watching.